What's up, everybody? You are watching Straight Facts with Ritchie and Ciro. I'm Ciro, my boy.
Ritchie.
And let's get straight into the facts. Kick it off for us, Ritchie.
Alright, so today we'll be starting off with our top 5 underrated players in the 2018-2019 NBA season. And I didn't really have anything in any particular order, but I'm going to start off with Blake Griffin with the Pistons, who's averaging 25.7 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 5.4 assists.
So yeah, I can agree with you. I would definitely have Blake Griffin on my underrated player list. He's definitely having an incredible season. I think it's underlooked or overlooked because of his team. His team now is the 7th seed, I believe, so that's obviously big for them as a team who was playing awful. Or Blake Griffin would put above 40 and still lose. And he'd be having incredible performances, career-high performances, seasonal performances, and just really overall an incredible player that deserves to be mentioned as a top 5 power forward. I mean, he really is, and he's having an incredible season, and I think that I can agree with you with him being underrated just because he doesn't get the attention he deserves.
And they got off to a really good start this season, too.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
they
did.
were like top 3, top 4 team.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was only the first 10 or 15 games, but still they got off to a great start,
for sure.
which is surprising. Next person here, Nikola Vucevic, who's having a career year, averaging a double-double, 20.5 points per game, along with 12.1 rebounds and 4 assists.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him in my underrated list because I don't underrate him at all. I mean, he's in my top 5 big men for centers, and I definitely, and yours too. And I think that he's gotten the attention he deserves because, I mean, his team is not good. I mean, of course, they are a 9th seed right now, and they do have the ability.
Half a game back.
Yeah, they're only a half game back. But I just think with Vucevic is, if he was traded to a better team, then he would be.
He could be an impact.
Yeah.
Really impactful.
Like, I could see what you mean by underrated, but I think he gets the credit he deserves, especially on the team he's on, for sure.
I think one of the top point guards here in the league, Jrue Holiday, who's averaging 21 points per game this season, 5.1 rebounds, 7.9 assists, doesn't get enough talk about him.
Yeah, I mean, Holiday really just does get it done, and with the absence of Anthony Davis, he's been able to excel and play great, and I would definitely put him on my underrated players list. I do think that he can really just he needs credit. Yeah, he's very good, and even since Philadelphia, he's always had that ability to shoot, pass, do it all. So, but who I do have replacing Vucevic for my most underrated players, Nikola Mirotic. I think Mirotic doesn't get half the boats that he needs. I mean, even in Chicago when he was averaging 18, even last year in New Orleans, even this year, and now in Milwaukee, I mean, he's still averaging 16 points, almost 8 rebounds, above 40 field goal percentage, and I think that
good 3-point shooter as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's just one of the best players that I think of for just being balanced, and even coming off the bench, he's been able to do it all. And I think he's just really overlooked, and he should totally be, you know, in one of those lists for most underrated players. I think that he's on a team that just might do it all this year. Now, I mean, definitely in the Eastern Conference. I don't think that they can beat the Warriors, but I think that if anyone
can, give them a run for their money though. It's gonna be they won't sweep them or anything.
No.
I think it'll be a good series if it comes down to that series.
If it comes down to the Bucks Warriors, I think it could go 6 games. I really do think it could do that.
Too.
And of course, it could even go more than that because Giannis is just that team in general. But of course, what I'm saying is Nikola Mirotic, I think, is a completely underrated player, and that's who I replace. And then back to Holiday, I agree with you on that he's underrated. So I mean, so far, pretty similar for the 3. Who's your 4?
I got Julius Randle, another member of the Pelicans, who's having a breakout season, averaging 20.4 points per game on 53% shooting from the field, along with 8.9 rebounds and 3 assists per game.
Yeah, I definitely got you on that. I could put him as underrated player. And another player I could, Randall he started off great this year. And having just really good numbers defensively, good rebound numbers, and of course, scoring. Now, I do think that another player that could be my underrated players is Spicy P. I think that Pascal Siakam is in the underrated players just because he deserves a lot more attention to himself.
And I think he should win Most Improved Player of the Year.
Hands down. Absolutely.
Today.
That's one of my favorite players in the league, and just I love seeing him play. And another player, if this was last year, I think could easily get top 5 underrated, is Robert Covington. He's definitely he was kind of like the one player that the 76ers didn't want to give up just because he's so valuable, but it is Jimmy Butler. So him now as a T-Wolf, I think he's playing pretty solid.
And he's been out for a while, too.
Yeah. But when he plays,
he was playing
his defense is present, and his 3-point shooting is always huge for them. And I think that like if this was last year, because last year had a great season, so I could just see him up there too. But I agree with you on Randall.
Also, Montrezl Harrell from the Clippers
Yeah,
too.
absolutely. And of course, he
Just
comes off the
great
bench
energy.
most of the time. Now he's starting finally because they got rid of
No, he's not
Gortat.
starting.
He's not.
No.
Zubac.
Zubac started. Zubac started last night. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know for a while when Gortat went down or was out, they did start Harrell. So, but he's once again a 6-man. So.
And another guy I have is your boy John Collins, who he's played, I believe, 47 games, so he hasn't played as much as everybody else, but still some really good numbers, 9.5 points per game, 56% shooting from the field, and 37% from behind the arc.
Yeah, so I think Collins is really showcased how dominant big men can really be on scoring ends. He's put up some pretty decent shooting numbers, not the best. No Dwayne Dedman, but for the big man, I think that he's put up some pretty good shooting numbers for a big man. And of course, he's got that athleticism you just wouldn't expect. He's an incredible dunker. And of course, that dunk contest was really bad, but I thought that he did pretty well at the Rising Stars. That was really cool. But I think John Collins is undoubtedly a really underrated player just because in a few years he will be up there. Mm-hmm. I think we had him in our top 5 power forwards. I had him in mine. I had Spicy P and him in my top 5 power forwards over Kyle Kuzma just because Kyle Kuzma only has really scoring to his game.
Right.
And as a big man, you should be averaging over 7 rebounds a game for sure. But I definitely think that John Collins is somebody who needs a lot more attention than he gets.
Heading over to some MLB news and starting off with the Yankees signing outfielder Aaron Hicks to a 7-year, $70 million deal. And I don't think this was a bad contract at all.
Sorry.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I think that this was a player that we definitely do enjoy having on the team. And, of course, keeping him, that's big for us. And, this will be his 4th year.
Yes, this will be his 4th year.
This will be his 4th year. And he's definitely been a big option
especially
for us.
Defensively. He's got a great arm. He's very athletic.
Yeah, absolutely. And he can hit well too, for sure.
He had a really good season last season, but in the 3 seasons with New York, he has 50 home runs, 162 RBIs, 243 batting average, and 270 hits.
Yeah.
So his first 2 seasons, he wasn't that great, but his last season he really brought it all together. His all-around game.
Yeah, and with the Yankees, we've definitely had a lot of just young talent over the years. And this year was Andujar. He came in and he had some really, really good games.
And I think he should have won Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I thought, Ohtani's Ohtani, but
because he was a pitcher too.
That's why that happened. But I really thought Andujar deserved it, and I'm sure many people can agree too. Just because it's not like I'm saying that because I'm a Yankees fan. It's because it's like the truth, the way he played.
Just look at the numbers.
And he was putting up incredible stats, and also just overall, we know Aaron Judge, and then of course Aaron Hicks. He had a pretty solid season 2 years ago as well. Actually, it was. He did kind of blow some games for us, but I think that I'm happy with this. It's kind of a lengthy deal, but it's not too much money, so that's one thing for sure.
Next deal here, Nolan Arenado signing an 8-year, $260 million contract with the Colorado Rockies, but I really think this is worth it. His numbers have been amazing ever since he's been in the MLB. In his 6-year career, has 186 home runs, 616 RBIs, a 291 batting average, and some of his accolades include he's a 4-time All-Star, 4-time Silver Slugger Award winner, and a 6-time Gold Glover. So every year he's been in the MLB, he's won the Gold Glove.
Yeah, and I think that, like you just said, you really hit it on the spot, that he deserves it and they need it. Because he's a player that not only puts up awesome performances, but he's really important to his team. And of course, a team like the Rockies who want to contend, if anything, that they need him. It's just simple, like you said, 6 years, Golden Glove.
Right.
And of course, he's been in the race for MVP plenty of years.
I think for the past 3 years,
and even this year too. He's definitely just an incredible player for sure. And I think that as big as this contract was, he looks forward to it, and the Rockies look forward to it.
Definitely. Now, the news we've all been waiting for. Finally, Bryce Harper makes his decision. A 13-year, $330 million deal, the largest contract in North American pro sports history, to the Philadelphia Phillies.
He took way too long. If he gets that much, what do you think Mike Trout's going to get?
Or Mookie Betts.
Anybody like that. Yes, Bryce Harper at one point had an incredible season. His MVP season.
2015, yeah.
That was a great season.
And he's had really good numbers throughout his 7-year career. But
yeah. It's not.
That's
It's
a
not
lot of
worth
money.
13 years. And like we meant, I was telling Ritchie, within what 1.5 weeks, we got 3 of the biggest contracts in MLB history that we've ever seen. Arenado, Machado, and of course Bryce
This
Harper.
contract puts him into age. He'll be age 39 in his final season of the contract when the contract
And no
is all
opt
said and
out.
done.
And no opt out too. So
But he wanted that too. He
Like,
said.
I don't know. Like I don't think I could see anybody signing. Like we talked about it. I would never sign anybody for over 5 years. Cause
Yeah, 5 or 6, maybe 7 years is the max for me.
yeah. Well, Phillies, all you Philly fans, you're
I
definitely
think
happy.
honestly, like right now, I know it's early in the season, like spring training had just started, but I have the Phillies going to the World Series right now.
Okay.
I got because that
Okay.
team is something else.
Read it out.
They
You got
have
it?
JT Realmuto,
Okay.
an All-Star, Gene Segura, who was an All-Star last year, Andrew McCutchen, the former MVP, Dougal Herrera, really good center fielder, home run hitter. Same with Mike Alfranco, who's a third baseman, and Rhys Hoskins, the outfielder. Once again, he hit. What did he hit? 34 home runs.
Yeah.
So-
And the pitching core is actually pretty solid.
Yeah,
It's
Jake
not
Arrieta
like-
had a tough season,
Yeah.
but Aaron Nola was top 3 in
Yeah,
Cy Young voting
yeah, for
last
sure.
year, so.
And their pitching core is definitely, like, the reason why I think that, like, you mentioned with the Phillies, how this is just such a huge improvement for them, because they are already a solid team.
Mhm.
And now you bring in a player like Bryce Harper, who, I mean, he's not, I don't think he's what people make him to be. I don't think he's anything close to Mike Trout.
I think he can
But
turn
he's
around.
definitely a
No,
great-
he's not as good as Mike Trout, but
No.
I mean, he's still one of the
No.
top players in the
I don't
MLB.
think he deserved that much money. And I don't think, like 13 years, like, for how long he did it, it was just kind of getting annoying. But this team, regardless, is going to succeed big. And, of course, it's not going to be like the Padres,
No.
where...
They're not going anywhere
No,
this year.
Machado's going to go from years of competing for, or at least this year, as a
Mhm.
Dodger, World Series, and now he's just going to be watching at home.
They're not going anywhere.
I don't know what that was, but, I mean, definitely...
He was just in it for the money.
Yeah, and this was a smart deal, though, for sure. If I was in Harper's shoes, I don't know about 13 years, but...
I mean, it's good for him. I
Yeah.
mean, the Phillies are
Hey, buddy, be happy.
spending all this money. But
Yeah. So just do what you love, buddy. But I think that, like you just said, maybe they'll be in the World Series. You never know.
in the final bit of MLB news here, Royal Salvador Perez could miss the 2019 MLB season with an injured UCL. And in his 8 seasons, he's been one of the top catchers in the MLB.
World
a
Series.
6-time All-Star, 5-time Gold Glover, a World Series MVP, and a 2-time Silver Slugger winner.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great World Series. I mean, I thought I was, what I was rooting for. I mean, I didn't want the Royals to win, but of
Right.
course, I mean, that was a big season. That was DeGrom's big season.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that was a good World Series. But, like, Salvador Perez, anyways, that's just going to be a really tough loss for them because he, like you mentioned, is an incredible catcher. He gets the job done, and he's a good hitter, and I think that losing him for the whole season is going to be costly because a player like a catcher who's usually the leader of the team at the hardest points, it's going to be tough losing them because usually those are the guys that you kind of look to recover for the team, but that, like, all you can really say is it's just a tough situation.
Yeah, and
For
the
them.
Royals are just going to get worse because they were one of the worst teams in the MLB last year. So.
Absolutely.
And heading over to our final topics here just to talk about the NFL news. Starting off with the Ravens releasing Michael Crabtree to save $4.6 million in cap space.
I can see him going to a team like the Patriots. I don't know. I can see, like, just to get out some veteran experience and really just help the young receivers. And I think that he'd be on a cheap little contract. I think the Patriots or a team like the Steelers would pick him up. Do you have any, like, destinations where you
I
think
think
he'll
the
land?
Patriots wouldn't be bad. I mean, the Patriots do need some more wide receivers.
Yeah, especially them, yeah, for sure. I just think that, like, the Patriots are usually guys that benefit off this the most. They usually take in players that are veterans or even just decent players, and they like, okay, you're free, come with us.
Right.
Because who's going to turn down being for the best team of our generation, for sure.
Some more news. Tight end Jason Witten comes out of retirement and returns to the Dallas Cowboys.
After 11 years, Jason Witten, after he breaks the Pro Bowl trophy, says, wait a minute, I do not want to be at the Pro Bowl games anymore. This is not fun. The best thing that I did all season was interview players at the Pro Bowl. I want to be playing. So I think I mentioned to you, and we both agreed, I think that he's just going to be veteran help to Swim. And,
more of a mentor to all the tight ends. Swim, as you mentioned, Blake Jarwin.
And this is, I mean, speaking of the Cowboys, I mean, they just had a whole bunch of controversy on their players throughout forever.
2 guys just got suspended too.
Gregory,
indefinitely.
And
Irving.
Yeah. So that's you gotta love it. How about them Cowboys?
Right.
But getting Jason Witten, I don't think that it's like some Cowboys fans are like, yes sir, we're bringing him back. Like it's not like you're going.
It's not like he's
Jason.
in his prime or
Yeah,
anything.
it's
but-
literally like 11 years into his like career, Jason. Or
And he
12
was never
years now.
really that athletic of a guy.
No,
Like,
he just had Tony Romo.
he couldn't move that fast.
He was just
ever.
big. He literally would just. The only way he would break away is because that offensive line was breaking everybody. Like that's the only reason why he'd go like farther. But I think that it's not the biggest move. It's just really.
I don't think
cool.
it's a bad move.
It's cool. You know what I mean? Like I like it. I do think that it's a good move.
I certainly don't think it'll mess up the team's chemistry or anything like that.
No, you can't bring in a guy like Jason Witten and mess it up just because he is such a great guy. Like
Right.
I do like Jason Witten a lot, but I don't think it's gonna be like a big problem.
And the final thing to talk about here, the 3 teams that have shown interest in Antonio Brown include the Raiders, Redskins, and the Titans.
So I think we can definitely take out 2 teams right there for sure. Just
Okay.
because I don't think the Steelers are gonna trade him to them.
Oh.
They made it clear on what they're gonna
Who are you
do.
talking about, the Titans?
Yeah.
The Titans, yeah, they don't really.
Mhm.
I wouldn't really want. I mean, it doesn't really matter for like.
And the Raiders too.
They don't care about Antonio Brown. They just want they want the best for
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah, for sure. And also, well, I think if you pair like Mariota
Mm-hmm.
with Brown, or other way around, my bad, with like Brown with Mariota, I think that could be a solid thing. But of course, we know about Mariota, and his problem is his injury prone. And same with Derek Carr. And of course, like I said, I mean, Steelers have made it obvious that they don't want to trade to the AFC. So I think that, I mean, a team like the Redskins, I was thinking more.
And the
like,
Redskins don't even know who their quarterback
Yeah,
is going
exactly.
to be because Alex Smith is missing the entire.
And now they might
season.
take Kyler. Like you never know. And of course they have a while to change their mind. But I saw a tweet that the Cardinals just might be in on taking Kyler Murray. Of course, because Josh Rosen was a bust.
Mhm.
There's no doubt on that.
Well, no, I mean
He
only played. I mean, he only played one season. You got to give him some
Pick
time.
City.
And he had some good games, but
Pick City.
Alright.
I
I'd
mean,
say
I take
give
him over.
time.
I take him over Bradford, but
Mhm.
just because Bradford was Fumble City.
I'd say give Josh Rosen some time, though. I think.
Would you rather give someone time or right off the bat? Because I think Kyler Murray is ready to ball out this season.
We'll have to wait and see what they.
2 Oklahoma quarterbacks back to back, and you never know.
Mhm.
So I do think that like if the team like the Cardinals get Kyler Murray and Antonio Brown, I think that and Larry Fitzgerald as a mentor to
Right.
Antonio Brown.
And then David Johnson in the backfield. That could
Ooh,
be.
that could be tough. If he has a big season this year, I
Right.
think that could be tough. So who are your teams? Like, your teams are 49ers, the Cardinals, and the
I had
Redskins?
And I had the Packers too.
Yeah.
I had the Packers.
That's literally my list. I mean,
You're not complaining
I'm
about
not
it, right?
complaining about that.
And
Bring
I had
it
the
in.
Saints as well.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Michael Thomas and Antonio Brown on the same team.
Right.
Or even Devontae Adams and Antonio Brown on the same team. I can't even say that without smiling. But
We're so
I
excited.
would love that to happen. I mean, but yeah, so that was just our recap. We just did our news because we were able to do the games that we missed on the previous episode. I mean, like that we missed this week. And then we decided to put in all of the NFL, MLB, and basketball news for this episode. This is Straight Facts with Ritchie and Ciro. Tune in next time.